How are ya?
Oh, hey, good to see you.
Hey.
But you know, we don't really have time for your pirate games.
Okay.
We gotta finish the screenplay to Cutthroat Island, the biggest blockbuster of 1995.
Okay. So what do we have?
I think we have everything we need. The only thing we're missing is a great name for the villain.
Oh, okay.
There's been so many good like pirate nicknames over the years.
Yeah.
Captain Hook.
And we've got so many like great things in this film already. And
Yeah, I mean it's a
actors.
slam dunk.
Yeah. How could it not be the biggest film ever made? So we just need that hook, if you will. That name.
What could it be?
Dog.
You think?
Uncle Dog.
I guess.
I think
we're out of
that's
time.
it.
We got
That's it
time. We
now.
gotta finish it. All right. All right. So we got Michael Douglas all locked in as the male lead, right?
Oh crap! I thought that you were gonna get him.
Matthew Modine. Uh-oh.
Hey!
You're scaring us.
What? Why? Okay. This is episode 104.
Live from Davy Jones' locker.
Joss battle. Okay.
Dead men tell no tales, but live buddies are going to tell some stories.
About this dog shit.
Prepare to be whelmed.
X marks a spot for dog shit.
Some flops are better left untold or unseen.
This movie floundered.
It should walk the plank.
Yeah. Seriously.
Pirate puns. Or just not even puns.
Yeah!
Just sayings.
It was like a fuck up on the pun. Okay. Well, this movie is not good enough for me to be wearing this. Spoiler alert.
Not worth a
Sorry.
costume.
Yeah. Costume week. So what is this week? This is like, I guess I would say Adventure Week or Explorer Week.
That's a way to put it.
Yeah. Uncovering treasures. So, this was your week. So
Yeah, Matt, we
I'll let
went
you,
with Earth 2, which was okay, and Cutthroat Island, which I was really excited about because, like, I watched it a really long time ago and thought it was cool, and watched it again and didn't think it was so cool this time. So,
Well,
yeah. So welcome to our most skippable episode yet. But there's some. It's worth. It'll be fun to talk about.
Yes. So, we suffered through it, so you don't have to.
You start with Earth 2.
Yes. So, Earth 2. I don't know, on these weeks when it's yours, do you want to take the reins on what this is, or do you want me to?
So, it was a show that came out on NBC back in the day, mid '90s, I think '94, and it ran for one season, I think, and was canceled. And I don't even remember this coming out, but I somehow heard about it over the years, and it sounded like something we might like.
Yeah.
So I watched the version that was dubbed in French on YouTube. But I could still follow what was going on, so it was okay.
That's like Manimal. I was like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, it was kind of a chore to get through, but the show seemed decent. What did you think? Had you heard of it before?
I'd heard of it before.
Did you remember when it came out in the 90s?
No, definitely not. This is like something that I probably wouldn't have been shocked if it was on UPN back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm kind of shocked it was on NBC. But having said that, I'd never heard of it until kind of like recently when I was like looking for stuff to maybe watch. So this was on my list, and it's now not on the list because you picked it. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I thought it was okay.
Yeah. Starring Deborah Ferrantino and Clancy Brown, aka the Kurgan.
Yeah, Clancy Brown.
That was the only disappointment.
Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Pretty much, he's the only reason to watch this show.
Yeah, and since he was dubbed, I didn't get to hear his dulcet tones.
Oh, I can't believe you watched the whole thing like that. I was able to get a copy of it and watch it like the first episode, but it was like I think the first 2 episodes and maybe some other crap put together because it was like 3 hours, but I only watched up to the 90 minutes when it kind of concluded, and I was just like, okay, I'm not watching the rest of this for this, at least to report on it, because I didn't want to keep going and then be like, you know, I did all this work and then, you know, for no reason.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. As always, like when we talk about these pilots, it's like they stretch them out into movies, and it's like so much filler, and it kind of drags. Like the whole scene where the beginning like 20 minutes are totally unnecessary before they get to Earth 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, we know they're going to Earth 2. Let's get to Earth 2.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, like I didn't really care about like the side story with like the really sick kid.
Yeah.
And the mom.
Me neither.
Anytime there's usually a kid, I'm kind of like, no.
Didn't they learn from Wesley?
Yeah.
And Nog.
What's his face? Well, at least Nog had like an actual like arc. Wesley's just like a piece of shit. But I guess let's not get into that.
No, we should not.
But Clancy Brown's kid is like kind of the same as like the sick kid, but at least like, I don't know, I feel like she's the only real part where she's kind of annoying is when they're fighting on that like scooter, and I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
this
I know.
Is like straight out of a Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
movie
baby
or
stuff.
something.
Get this baby stuff out of there.
But
I thought it looked pretty cool. Like when they
Yeah.
got to Earth 2, like they filmed in some nice looking locations.
they essentially got to Earth 2, but honestly, they just
It looks like Earth
they
1.
stepped out into like Canada. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, dude.
But at least it looked nice. Like it was better than the early Star Trek, where it was like a red background or something.
Yeah,
And that's all
it was a set.
Yeah. And I thought it was cool, the little alien puppet that showed up. He looked like a mini Mac and Me, kind of.
Yeah.
I was like a little puppet creature. That was fun.
Yeah.
And that's about the best I have to say about the show. Like, it is what it is. I know we're both huge fans of Clancy Brown, so it's always cool to see him show up.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that he had as much screen time as he did.
Yeah,
but
he's always a side
wasn't
character.
enough to be like the full.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't. He kind of starts taking like the lead, but like then like that lady kind of shows up and ruins everything. She like for some reason thinks that she's like in charge, and he's like, I think we should all vote on it, which makes sense because they're stranded, and it's like the captain has just been killed. So at that point, I feel like like it would make sense for everybody that didn't really want to be there when they're surviving together to kind of make like a democratic decision together instead of being like, I'm in charge. So also like I feel like this has a lot in common with the actual main movie pick, like the feature, with like they have this like female lead that's not convincing or strong enough in my opinion to like hold the runtime.
This was notable because it was like a female lead in a genre show. It was
Yeah.
kind of rare. This was even right before Janeway.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's not very compelling.
Yeah. Boring and like there's no reason to like follow what she says.
The only other note I had is I thought it was funny that there was a dude smoking a cigar in space.
Yeah.
Like that just got that idea written all over.
The captain that gets killed in the first episode or the first pilot.
Oh, and one other bit of trivia. The guy that did the score for Day of the Dead that we love so much, John Harrison.
Yeah.
He was involved in this show because he directed a
He
few
was the
episodes.
puppet.
He's like,
He's like, that guy's like, ugh.
instant death.
I'm like, what?
Don't you love in movies how people always get hit by darts in the neck only?
Yeah, I had one of my notes is Commander gets killed by Yoda. It's like, oh man. So yeah, it was just overall, they introduced like these alien watchers that are like they're just watching from the sidelines, and
They're kind of creepy.
ninja vanish. But then it's like, okay, kid gets pulled underground. He's wearing like the whole time this like Dune suit, it's like, okay, dude, like,
Dude, say.
yeah, but
yeah, like when they go in underground and like she has weird visions and stuff, I was like, this is going on a little bit. This is dragging, dude. Let's get going.
Speaking of dragging,
we got dragged to hell.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know if I'll continue watching Earth 2.
Yeah, I think this just doesn't
like,
quite make the cut.
Clancy Brown is like the greatest thing in this by a country mile. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe like it gets better later on, and like he gets like, I don't know. I don't know how much more screen time you could give him because he does have a lot of screen time. But it's just like every scene that he's in is great, but then like this like wet blanket of a bitch comes in and fucking just is like an asshole. So, well, she's just mean to everybody. Like her kid is like dying and like, or like sick. The doctor, she's talk shit about the doctor that's trying to help like her son, and she's just like, she doesn't know, she's brand new, and it's like, she's like the definition of like a Karen. She's just a bad seed.
Bad dog.
Yeah, she's a bastard. But yeah, I guess, do you have anything else to say about
No,
Earth 2?
that's about it.
I wanted it to be like,
first I heard of
better
Arc
than it
2,
was.
but then Earth 2?
Yeah, I know, right? It was better than Arc 2, for sure.
At least Arc 2 had a monkey.
So I never thought I'd say that, but that shit sucked. I think the monkey was probably the best actor in that fucking show. And it was just voiced by a random dude, so it wasn't like, oh man.
Should we move on to the main event?
Yeah, we'll move on to Cutthroat Island. So I guess set this one up too, I guess.
Yeah, Cutthroat Island was one of the, like, I guess it still holds the record for like biggest financial loss of all time for a movie. It was a huge flop when it came out. It was basically a huge disaster. And we saw it in theaters. And I remember thinking, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the first movies that we got on DVD. So like I've definitely seen it a bunch of times back in the day. And I always like, I want it to be so good. Like it's got so many good ingredients that don't add up to like
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, like,
it's got
they have like huge, awesome, full size pirate ships and stuff, and like all these resources were just wasted on
the music is good, and like the sets are good. And so is the like
the locations are awesome looking. It looks cool, but
it's like dog shit.
It's like it's like a lifeless body just lying there for 2 hours.
It's like an attractive dead body.
So had you heard of this before?
Or no, I'd never heard of this fucking film until you like nominated it, and I was like, oh, cool, a pirate film, right?
And it's directed by Renny Harlin, who's made lots of awesome movies. He made Cliffhanger right before this.
Jesus.
And he made Long Kiss Goodnight right after this, which also has Geena Davis, and she's actually good in that movie, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So it's just baffling.
Yeah. I don't really know what to say. But we'll find the words.
The movie went so over budget. Basically, the company that financed it went out of business after this. Like it destroyed the company.
Yeah.
And it came out with like there was only bad like news surrounding this movie, bad word of mouth. There was no marketing campaign or anything, so like it was just a huge flop. It cost like $150 million, and it made 10.
Well, I guess let's get talking about it. I guess that's the setup, and here's the fall. So my first note says that like I was excited because Geena Davis is in this because I was like, oh, I like her in Beetlejuice, and that quickly faded.
That's the funny thing because like she's a great actress. She's been great in lots of other movies. A League of Her Own. Yeah. She's great in that.
She's fucking horrible in
this
movie.
So bad. I don't know what it is, but like, yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the biggest problem.
I was just kind of shocked.
Thelma and Louise, I think she was nominated for an Oscar in that. But it's just like, this was a head scratcher, man.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on here because like, what's it called? They have you never really get that she's supposed to be this like huge outlaw pirate until you see like this poster of her that's on the wall like 20 or 30 minutes into the film when they go into this town, and like by that point you're already checked out. And but like also in the poster she's wearing something that she doesn't wear fully until like the end of the film anyway. Like I don't even remember if she wears that fucking hat like a lot. It's like the picture looks fucking cool where she's wearing like this like hat and she's got like her stuff like that, but the hat's not even that cool. It's like cooler in the picture. It's like not only that. Okay, well we'll get to that, but like yeah, it's just like they've got this like cool setup for like an idea of like this like outlaw pirate.
She's supposed to be like a female Jack Sparrow, basically.
This is like pre Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's like not even like 1/1,000,000th of as cool as like the first scene in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep. I think there's lots of problems with this movie, and we don't normally slam acting in movies.
Right. Oh yeah, because usually it's everything else.
Right, but
the
in this
problem
movie,
is everything else and this. It's
like the two leads are terrible in this movie. It's like they're embarrassingly awful.
Yeah.
And I think Geena Davis is a good actor. I'm not as big a fan as Matthew Modine. Like,
I don't really know what else he's been in. I've heard of him before.
He was in Full Metal Jacket. That was kind of one of his biggest roles. He was one of the troops.
Yeah,
he was like the head
I've
lead
seen
troop.
That movie like one time, but I know it's like a classic.
But he's usually like ninth build in movies, and there's a reason why. It's like he's not that good, dude. And he definitely can't lead a huge action movie. Like, he was garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, this was.
And I found out like there was like a list of 20 other actors that they wanted and couldn't get, basically. So
he was like 20th on the list. Damn.
It was supposed to be Michael Douglas, which if you think about that, I think he would have been great. This is like a Michael Douglas type role, but man, it's bad.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have changed anything, honestly.
Yeah. And also,
because like look at the other people. We got Frank Langella, like obviously like Geena Davis is in this, and she's great in other stuff.
Yep.
So it's like,
also going back to Geena Davis, like she was married to Renny Harlin at the time, and so I thought maybe that was a reason, could it be why she wasn't good? But like he directed her in Long Kiss Goodnight right after this, and she's awesome in that. So I don't know. What'd you think of Frank Langella as Dog?
Very underwhelming. Every part of this film, as far as acting wise, except for Stan Shaw as like the side guy, like
he's always good.
Mr.
Glasspool.
Yeah. He was like the Ishmael or whatever, or not Ishmael, but he was like the dude in Moby Dick that like throws the bones, like the superstitious, like kind of like the cool character. They had like a guy that had like these tattoos on his face that was bald, and it
Rex
seemed like
Lynn.
he should have been like cool, but he wasn't. He was just like everything in this movie was like, if you put it through like a UPN, like bad Canada, like like jack of all trades filter, but like that's even like a slam to like jack of all trades, because that was more interesting and funny than this. Like, you know what I mean though? It's just like everybody's performance was filtered through like the most basic, like, this is crap filter. And like you said, it's like they had like cool stuff, but it was like everything added up to like dog shit.
What'd you think of there's a character named Trotter who looks like a human Goofy, the dog?
Was he like the guy that like ended up? He was like Captain
By
Norrington.
the end, he became...
Yeah, he was like the original Captain Norrington from Pirates of the Caribbean, where he's like a British officer or Caribbean officer, and then he eventually becomes like a pirate at the end. Which that made like zero sense. He just like turns at the end.
Okay,
of the film.
whatever. Can we end the movie now?
Did you see at the beginning when Geena Davis was sleeping with that dude, and like the dude that was holding her up looked like Tommy Wiseau and acted like him? It was like horrible.
No, but
his hair was like super like he's like, where are you going? And I was like, this is fucking.
Maybe it was him.
I was like, this is the shit. That's when I knew we were fucked, or at least I was fucked. And then she says, I took your balls. And I was like, okay. as my third note says, music too epic for this long shot and a faraway boat. Nothing's happening, but it's really adventurous music. So like the music was like way better than what was being shown on film.
Yeah.
So I think like the cinematographer like dropped the fucking ball on this film, possibly as well.
One thing
shots
that made me think was there's a scene at the beginning where she's like riding on horseback like through this beach.
Yes,
and it's like an epic landscape, and it reminded me of I saw the Jurassic Park 6, whatever the latest one's called, Jurassic World, whatever. And in that movie, Chris Pratt is like there's a scene where he's riding a horse through like the snowscape.
Okay.
But it's clear that he's like riding on a CGI horse because he's sitting on a thing going like this, and then no way does it
the
look.
horse isn't like
And I'm like, this filmmaker is so lazy. You can't film an actor riding a fucking horse.
Yeah.
Like this is what. At least there were real horses in this movie.
I'd rather watch Jurassic World than this film, though.
Be careful what you wish for, my friend. That's like comparing whose puke smells worse, though. It's like,
this smells worse. Guy commits suicide by anchor, but then he like just gets shot anyway. I thought that was funny because it's his like her freaking dad trying to kill himself so they can't get the map, and he gets fucking shot because she's trying to save him. It's like, huh? It's like he goes through more pain.
I saw in the trivia the dad was supposed to be played by Oliver Reed, and he was actually like either they had cast him or had started filming, but he was like always drunk all the time, and he mooned Geena Davis when they fired him.
That probably would have made the movie better. Because that character was like in one scene. Like, who gives a fuck? They swim into Cheddar Bay. Dog will pay for this.
Cheddar Bay like biscuits?
Yep. Shave my head. And I was like, oh, I bet the map is tattooed on his scalp, and it was. So it was like pretty predictable.
The daughter had to scalp her own dead dad.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Fancy party. And then we got like Chaucer.
They could just cut this whole party scene out. Like,
this is when I was like, this sucks. Where's Jack of all trades, the daring dragoon at this party? And then I just have one of my notes is just 4 Z's.
There's nothing to latch onto. Like when all the characters are like, you're just watching them. Like, why are they talking like this, dude? It is like The Room, kind of like the way the dialogue's delivered in this.
But
movie.
it's not like something that I could like be like, you should watch this for entertainment or laugh at. It's just like I did have a note that says like, how funny would this be if the thief got caught and killed right there? Like they just blow his head off. But then like right after that, he does get caught. So I was like they acted like this guy was like a great thief, but then like instantly he gets caught, and I was like, what is this?
He's like shit? Jack Burton. But worse.
Yeah. Except for he's not entertaining or funny, so
you actually want him to get killed.
Turn into a slave. Bad drunk acting. That's another mark against this film.
That's a real bugaboo for you.
Yeah. I just think it's so easy to do bad drunk acting.
Just wait till we watch Star Trek First Contact.
So I hate to say this, but I don't think getting Geena Davis for this was the right call. She's not commanding enough to be believable captain of a ship, especially back then as a woman. But maybe it was just like the movie sucked. I don't know.
I don't know what it is. I wish I could explain it, but it's like bad.
Yeah. Doc Brown is a little close to Doc Brown, Back to the Future.
Uncle Donald.
Pirates were mainly Democratic, so they would have voted on the next captain. One of the main reasons people were pirates for the free. I think I was just looking for anything to shit on about this movie.
Yeah, the whole like where there's a mutiny and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about any of these pirates. Like,
yeah. They asked this dude to speak Latin. He does, and they're like, "What did you say?" So like, he could have just lied. And then I think Tarantino wrote this scene because he says, "You're a very beautiful woman. I'd like to wash your feet."
You don't miss a step.
I love it. A step? Shows an overweight dude in mummy rags, and he says, "Take him away and hang him." No, please don't hang me. I was cracking up like the ADR on that.
He's like, it's all right, it's okay,
Yeah.
don't hang me, Jesus told me so.
That was probably like the best part of this film for me. No, actually, there's one other part at the very end that we're gonna talk about.
Does it have to do with the guy who's been whipped? Did you notice
that's
that?
another part?
Do you have a note about that?
I probably do
Okay.
later. So dude looks over at a wanted poster of Geena Davis's character Morgan Adams and just like points at the poster and it looks nothing like her. And they aren't even wearing the same clothes. And I'm like, how did he fucking know? She's just a woman in, like, it was like a poster of script convenience. He was like, and like points at it and doesn't even talk to the guy. It's like, what? She stabs the other bidder in the balls. Stan Shaw is the best in this. Don't believe for a single second Geena Davis did any fight training. Just now took off dress.
In one shot, I noticed she had like sunglasses tan lines. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that's a note that a lot of
like, come on, dude.
Like,
can you cover that up?
Fight on top of carriage is a disgrace.
Although there's one cool stunt where like she rolls out the window and falls onto the carriage.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
Okay.
One shot in this movie.
I will let you have your own opinion. Priest carrying Tomb of the Blind Dead corpses. Like, the dudes were like, oh. And then they run it over, and the fucking shit's like... Geena Davis somehow beats a carriage going at full speed while she's running through a thing.
Yeah.
I was like, they're backwards, I assure you, ma'am. They are normal in every respect. I was like, that's when she was talking about, like, the map was backwards, but he meant her balls, and I was like, or his balls, and I was like, huh?
Hilarious.
I've been taking notes for a while at this point, so I just say time for eel torture, because that's where, like, they catch up with him and they're, like, going to use this fucking eel puppet to, like, bite her.
It's like a eel straight out of the Muppets.
Okay, so I have a note here about, I don't know if this happens before or after the whipping, but, like, one of the main actors actually got hit on the head with a barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Matthew Modine getting knocked on the skull Donkey Kong
And
style.
I was thinking that was probably an accident.
Oh, definitely was.
They don't acknowledge it before or after, and you don't see someone, like, obviously, like, throwing it like it's supposed to be part of the film. It just, like, a random explosion prop came down and hit him on the fucking head.
It looks like it hurt.
He goes like, I'm like, Jesus! Somebody says Uncle Dog is coming for you. I went, okay.
Uncle Dog.
Mutiny for what reason?
Right. I don't know or care.
Huge storm.
Gotta have the obligatory storm scene in a pirate movie.
They got to Cutthroat Island, and I'm halfway through the movie. Kill me. Like, they've essentially...
Yeah, they
got
should have
to
been
the
to
end of the
Cutthroat
film.
Island much quicker.
Well, the film's, like, over at this point, but, like, there's still, like, an hour left. Guy stuck in quicksand, the way this guy's acting is like he's trying to be, like, Carrie Ells and Princess Bride. Like, that's... But it's like he's failing miserably. It's like... Reaction to the treasure. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, they discover it, and that's like, why, as the audience, would I care? Like, we're watching this, and they finally get this treasure, and they're like, you know...
Yeah, and also there's no chemistry whatsoever between Geena Davis and Matthew Modine, but it's like everyone's keeps saying they're in love, and I'm like, what evidence do you have? They showed no affection towards each other at all.
It's script love.
Yeah.
So we're at the climax, 1 hour, 20 minutes in, and it's still got 43 minutes left. Guy says he's got 40 million pounds of treasure. I thought that was kind of weird. Like, when he's hauling it up, like, he's like, I've got 10 million pounds of treasure here, and like the uncle guy's like, don't kill him yet, and I'm like, what? He can't actually be holding that much right there. Dude hits the water like from Turtles 3. Like, conveniently a wave comes up and saves him just at the last second, and they like implode.
Yeah, there's some dodgy. This was like the dawn of CGI, like effects like that, where it doesn't look very good.
Dude says there are so many, we are so few. Okay. So much action, but who gives a flying shit? Like, stuff is happening, but it means nothing.
And it's not very well filmed either.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of repetitive. It's not very, like, exciting.
dude randomly turns into a good guy at the end. I don't know, what was the whipping part?
So there's a scene where like they're all in the hull of the ship where they're about to like break.
Yes, okay, now I remember. Yeah.
And there's a dude in the background who's like shackled and his back is covered in blood and because he's been whipped.
Yeah.
But it looked like the dude didn't even know they were filming. He was just like, was that a real guy who
was that like an actual pirate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing
the
because
crew
he's
was
like
whipping.
They're delivering a lines and he's just like
chilling,
looking back right at the camera like.
I never noticed that before. It was so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like nobody called action. Good lord. So, I kind of want to talk about this part at the end here, like the climax, unless you have other things you want to talk about first.
Yeah, I mean, I think Frank Langella embarrasses himself least of anyone in this movie. Like, I think he has a couple good lines where, like, he kills a dude and he's like, "We have less mouths to feed."
Yeah,
like,
I think it's probably because he has the least amount of screen time.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't think it has anything to do with...
Which
is actually a detriment, because I feel like if his character was more in the movie and more menacing, it would have actually given, like, a reason for me to feel like that they're scared of this character.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to just be like, I'm going to kill everybody, but it's like, you know, make the audience feel that this guy's, like, actually, like, a terror.
Yeah.
Also, like, they never really say what the fucking, the treasure is, and then when you finally find out what it is, it's just money. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, why not just give him the fucking treasure? Like, it's just money, you know what I mean? It's not like there was something there, like, you know, like with Pirates of the Caribbean. The whole thing was they were trying to, like, become not undead so they could finally, like, not be cursed anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like, literally for just some money. Like, okay, something you could get anywhere. Is it really worth getting fucking reamed for?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not like it was a legacy thing either from, like, her dad. It was just like, I don't know.
Random treasure.
Yes. Yeah. It's like the special thing in this film wasn't even worth the stuff. That they never even set up what it was to begin with. Like, you assume when they say treasure, they meant something else, but it was literally just basic ass treasure.
Jewels.
Yeah. So, it also didn't even look that, like, fucking, like, alluring.
I liked when he said, "Uncle Dog will have his day."
Yeah. It's weird, though.
And then, like, when they escape again, or when they jump off the cliff together, he says, "Love, who can explain it?" I'm like, what made you think they're in love, dude? But it was a good line delivery, I guess. And then his death was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I want to go over here.
Okay.
So, Dog. It's over, Morgan. Dog Brown. Morgan, knocked off her feet and backed against a bulkhead, is brandishing a burning stake from the debris. You planning to fight me with that little stick? Morgan Adams. No, Uncle. With this. Morgan pulls a canvas away and reveals a loaded cannon and lights it, pointing at Dog. His look is that of surprise and fear. Morgan Adams. Bad dog. Dog Brown is blasted through two walls and out the back window of the ship, broken arrow style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Probably the only good part of this film. I was cracking up when I saw that, and I had to rewatch it like 10 times.
Broken Arrow is still the GOAT,
yeah,
but this was pretty good too, although
because
it's very
so
similar.
bad.
Yeah.
But this is, I guess, laughing and joking aside, like, that's, like, not how someone should act when they're, like, avenging their father and mentor. Like, making jokes.
Well, say a one-liner?
Well, yeah.
Bomb style?
Well, it's also, like, so...
Bad dog.
But, like, also, it doesn't, like, really... It just continues to exemplify, like, how little her character meant to the people that wrote this film and filmed it. Because, like, she wasn't given a great character. She was almost defeated by the bad guy, and essentially luck saved her life, like Deus Ex Machina. And not a strong enough character to lead a film in an adventurous swashbuckling pirate epic where, like, I guess her whole thing is getting revenge on Dog, but the whole time she's just running. It's like, I never felt like even at the very end, she almost fucking died just in a fight. And it's like, come on. Like, you didn't even give her the fucking satisfaction of killing him, like, in a way that was like, you know, she was better than him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you said he's not menacing, it's like he's not very threatening towards her in the movie. He still acts more like an uncle than like a villain.
Right.
So when she brutally murders him at the end of the movie, it's like, good lord, dude.
Yeah.
But he's trying to kill her too at that point. So.
But movie doesn't end here, but I stopped taking notes, so I think there's still like 20 minutes left. But essentially at the end, they are like splitting the treasure up. And
they decide to become pirates and go on to more adventures.
Which would never happen.
Cutthroat Island 2.
Yeah.
Dog's Revenge.
God.
I did think they blow up an actual pirate ship in this movie, and it was spectacular. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So, 2 good shots in this movie.
Yeah. See, at the end, kind of just not fun to watch, except dog getting broken arrowed. Soundtrack was good, sets, costumes, and ships.
Yeah.
This overall kind of a perplexing thing. I have a note here. It's about, like you said, it was notoriously troubled and chaotic production involving multiple rewrites and recasts. It received generally negative reviews from critics who praised its high production values, action sequences, shooting locations, and musical score, but criticized its script, acting, and unrealistic stunts. It was one of the biggest box office bombs in history, with losses of $147 million when adjusted for inflation. It is listed in the Guinness World Records as the biggest box office bomb of all time, and significantly reduced the bankability and Bollywood production of pirate-themed films until 2003's Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl. Its failure caused the closing of Carolocos Pictures. So, yep. So what does Ebert, did he do a thing about this?
Guess what? Thumbs up. He liked it. He basically said what you just said, like he praised the technical aspects of it and like the look of it and all the sets and everything, but he said, "This is, in short, a satisfactory movie, but it doesn't transcend its genre and it's not surprising or astonishing. I saw it because that was my job, and having seen it, I grant it skill, and I award it 3 stars on the basis. But unless you're really into pirate movies, it's not a necessary film. Sorry."
Sorry. The only thing sorry about that was that fucking review. 4? What do you give it? 3 stars?
Yeah.
Are you fucking high, bro? Out of 4?
Yeah, he liked it.
What an idiot. But anyway, I did not see that in this film at all. I don't know about you. I saw obviously like the some of the stuff on screen, but just because they have like sets that are good and music that are good, I mean, for fuck's sake, every Star Wars movie ever has had fucking awesome music, but they're not all fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
What?
Ah.
The pod race was kind of cool.
I'm not talking about that. But I'll let you go ahead and go first. It's your week.
Yeah, I'll give this a 5.95.
Cool.
There are things to like in it, but not enough to I wouldn't recommend this to anyone.
Yeah.
Unless you're morbidly curious to see what one of the biggest bombs of all time looks like.
Even then, I would be like, watch like something else.
Yeah. Or put it on in the background and turn the sound off and do laundry. And you might
Don't
see
watch
some
it.
you might see some nice thing.
Just watch like the last
Put it on, like block your TV so no one can see it, and then leave town.
Turn it on, turn off the sound, turn off the TV. It's like, wait, what?
So yeah, 5.95. How about
you? Cool. I think I'm gonna give it like a 3.
All right.
3.95. Probably one of the most despicable films I've seen on this podcast.
Despicable. It's not good, man. Like I went into this hoping that we would be like, oh, this is awesome.
I mean, like I'm not against pirate films. It's there. I mean, this film like caused the death of the pirate genre for a long time.
Like 10 years.
It's very. It's. I'm fucking like. It's easy to see why. I mean, it's no exaggeration. This film fucking sucks. And like all the production that was put into it with like either the sound or the like you know, the soundtrack or like the sets or like the real world stunts they did. It's like none of that matters because it was just, you know, who gives a flying
in service
shit.
of a really bad movie.
Right, exactly.
Horrible script, terrible, just embarrassing
acting. Baffling acting, and like also a lot of it just seems, it's like almost everything would have been better if it was either dialed up or dialed down. It's like Geena Davis, some of her performance should have been dialed down, but like Dog's performance probably should have been dialed up.
Down.
So like, and then like I don't know what you do with like the one dude. Like I would say that his performance wasn't necessarily just so bad. It was just that his character was never really like. It was like a lot of the stuff in this film, like you were saying, like Geena Davis wasn't like a strong enough badass to be like, you know, be that like, I'm gonna cut your fucking head off, like if you try to like touch me or whatever, like, you know, just being like a real badass, like in charge, like pirate. You know, you're like, holy shit, this, you know, like, I don't know, the kind of person that like is almost like not like a dominatrix, but somebody that's just like a fucking badass. And it would make sense if that guy acted how he did and tried to charm her, and then maybe in the end he won her over by like becoming selfless. But it's like you never get that arc. She just kind of like, you have the obligatory, they're in love now. It's like, why? Just because he was there? Like,
you said it, man.
And like, she just, it's baffling because she's great in everything else I've ever seen her in. And
have you seen Long Kiss Goodnight?
No.
Like if this movie walked so Long Kiss Goodnight could run, it was worth it, because that's one of my favorites, and she's amazing in that. She totally pulls off being a very scary killer, and she's great. So
I think
watch Long Kiss Goodnight.
I was gonna say I don't know if it would be worth it, because fucking this film was fucking a horror show.
It's an abortion.
Also, like, if she was in something that was like really good before this, she didn't need to do this to do Long Kiss Goodnight. Good God. Stay away from this stinky fucking
fiasco,
rotten, pirate turd. I don't know.
What's next? How are you going to redeem us?
Well, you know what? I've been on the fence about this, and I'm not sure really what to what we're gonna think about this. So hopefully this isn't like another fucking what's it called?
I'm scared.
You're not the only one. So next week, I've always wanted to watch this, and I've never seen it before. But it stars Liam Neeson in a Sam Raimi production. Darkman.
Oh, dude. Dark Week.
Then Weird Watches will be the Darkman unaired TV pilot.
Whoa, nice.
So back to back for Mike Week, we've got unaired pilots. So hopefully this will be at least more enjoyable than this week was.
He's a dark man. He's a freak.
Liam Neeson getting fucking burned beyond all recognition.
Liam Neeson's?
So
cool.
Hopefully that'll be more fun than this. I mean, Sam Raimi, Liam Neeson. I mean, then again, this movie had fucking Geena Davis, and she was great. So I don't know. I don't know too much about like what people think about Darkman, but it had like 2 sequels, so at least it must have done something. So
Darkman.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, cool, man.
Okay, so I guess until next time, sail the high seas and steer clear of this movie and set your compass to another course, because that week is over. The reign of the Dark Man has begun.
I wish this movie was sent to the sea. Buried at sea.
This movie should have been sent to Davy Jones' fucking Foot Locker, because it stinks.
Nice.
So, I guess I'll let you say any last words you have about this shit.
Bye. You should just... The whole episode should just be that one line you just said.
Yeah.
Davy Jones' Foot Locker.
I can't even tell if that looks good or not, because I had one... I'm like, one eye open. It's like, what? I don't even know. Is there any dialogue? Well, obviously it's going to be...
We're just like...
Matthew Modine.
Uh-oh.
should just not even cut that. Just have you make that voice for no reason. But I'll use that for her voice. That's funny. Okay. Is that it or what?
Yeah, that's it.
That's fucking it.
The end.
Cut.